With that being said, it is time for our tail of the tape for this co-main event, and it's going to come down to, does the year off from the cage for Scott Thometz, does that affect him? Does he have that cage rest, or does the last-second change affect Darrell Flores? Those answers and more about to happen as we go inside the cage for the official introductions with ring announcer Britt Talbert.
And now, let's meet our fighters for our co-main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the red corner with a record of 5 wins against 3 defeats. He weighs in at 158 pounds and stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. Representing Fearless MMA from Caldwell, Idaho, let's welcome Darrell the Fiesta Flores. His opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he returns to the cage after a year off, sporting a record of 6 wins against 4 defeats. He weighs in at 156 pounds, stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He represents Combat Fitness and Straight Blast Gym, Idaho. From Boise, Idaho, let's welcome Scott Ticklebite Thometz. Our referee when the action begins for our co-main event is Tom Subnet. We'll get the fighters together for quick instruction here. Tom?
Okay, guys, I expect a good, clean fight, and I expect you to follow my instructions at all times. Let's go to your corners and prepare for battle.
Let's go.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It is our co-main event. It's time for our downtown throwdown.
And let's go ahead and add another layer of drama into this fight. Darrell has made no bones about it. Scott, former mentor of his.
Yeah, you know, being from Idaho, you know, it's still kind of a small town. So.
And we are underway. Is it the return that Scott Thometz wants? Goes in for a quick leg kick to soften up that leg. Darrell definitely kind of playing, both of them coming out with a few aggressions and some kicks, some punches. A lot of chaos going on right now.
Yeah, they're standing right in the pocket, you know, exchanging blows, which is good. You know, it's good for the fans. This is going to be a great fight. You know, all gauges indicate.
Good inside leg kick.
Scott's doing
definitely,
good,
as you can tell, had some effect on Vince as he wins there. Again, more punches. The stone cold look that Scott Thometz has right now, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Darrell's kind of, you know, trying to figure out his game plan right here, and Thometz seems to have a good game plan. So, you know, as the fight goes on, we'll see what happens.
And we are just about 1 minute into the first round of our co-main event of Front Street Fights 5, presented by Bodybuilding.com. Every round in this portion of the card goes 5 minutes. We've had yet one to go out of the first round.
There's a knee bar.
Good counter. Good counter by
really
Darrell
good.
Flores. Is Scott going to be
heel
able to get out of this?
There's a heel hook. They're really good. Darrell's really good at leg locks, so we'll see if he can pull this heel hook off. Thometz is doing the right thing by trying to control Darrell's arm, so Darrell can't use both arms. But now watch for the knee bar as well.
Trying to soften him up there with a hard shot there
Darrell's
to the right
look
side.
to roll again to get his balance off.
And Thometz assumes back position at this point. Nice right hand there to soften him up again. Darrell trying to roll through everything that Scott Thometz is getting in his way right now.
Scott's got his toe on the backside of Darrell's calf, so he can't get his leg underneath. So he's doing the right thing with Thometz's left leg there, and he's trying to get pepper some blows. And you know, Darrell's doing a good job with just kind of throwing everything at him now to half guard. Thometz electing to punish rather than pass, which
hard elbow,
yeah,
left elbow, which is going to take those are going to hit quicker than what you might expect.
Yeah, he's doing really good with the elbow and the knee. You know, and he's, like I said, he's not electing to pass. It looks like right now. So you know, he's just content to stay there in the middle of the ring. You know, he's got the position, so he's looking to just, you know, kind of rack up some points here.
In between Scott Jorgensen and Jesse Brock, no stranger or no secret, I should say. that Combat Fitness Straight Flash Gym, known for the ground game, which you might want to say would be an advantage to Scott Thometz, but Darrell Flores still hanging in there right now with what Scott wants to get.
Yeah, Darrell's a black belt in judo, and he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So you know he's seasoned as well, and you know with the strikes, I think it starts to even out.
Both throwing a couple of right hands either way.
Thometz looking kind of for a can opener just to open the guard, it looks like, or even just nullify Darrell's hips by pulling his head forward like that. That's called a can opener. Thometz doing a little bit of ground and pound, kind of old school in the closed guard. Not looking to push Darrell into the cage, which is kind of interesting. He's staying right in the middle there. Usually guys, you know, will make a beeline right for the end of the cage to put the opponent's head in the cage.
As we enter the final 90 seconds of round number 1 of our co-main event between Darrell Flores and Scott Thometz, action has kind of slowed just a little bit. You saw the early offensive flurry from both opponents. Now they're both on the ground, kind of trying to slow things down a little bit and figure out where the ground game is going to go from this point.
Yeah, you know, there's an action
both.
to be had right here.
Fists are flying from both opponents. Darrell Flores landing with Scott Thometz on the back.
Yeah, Darrell needs to get his hips active, you know, to start moving his hips side to side to threaten an arm bar or a sweep or something like that. You know, just staying flat on your back in the closed guard won't get the job done.
We got 45 seconds left in round number 1.
Thometz is doing the right thing.
Good
you know,
right hand catches Darrell Flores across the face there.
Yeah, you know, Thometz is doing the right thing, you know, looking to make a frame and make separation and punch off of that.
Well, and he doesn't, the leg lock that Darrell has on him or holding him off, allowing, you know, somewhat slowing Scott down, not letting him get that position to really get those fists flying and really close out this fight as we get into the final 20 seconds here. Both fighters definitely want a breather at this point. Stamina, 5-minute rounds, it does play into it.
Yes. So Thometz just, you know, happy to stay in the dominant position and you know, just dropping ground and pound, trying to tire Darrell out, and we'll see what happens.
Good elbow there at the end there, a few fists there.
Make it into the second round.
All right, we finished round number 1. This is what we expected from this fight. It has been a year, but it doesn't seem to affect Scott Thometz at all.
Darrell got up with a nice smile, so, you know, we'll see if that affects him or not, you know.
As we take a look here at some of the highlights from the first round here, Darrell Flores going for a spin kick. Kind of missed that one there, but again, this fight, 50-50 at this point. Yeah, the last couple of minutes there, Scott Thometz had the dominant position. And here going for, as you mentioned, the knee bar and the ankle lock there, but able to get out of it.
Yeah, you know, it was Darrell, you know, is really good at those leg locks, and he tried to throw those early, you know, when everybody's dry and you know the sweat's not running. So, and Thometz did a great job of defending him, and you know, it was pretty close, but Thometz immediately started attacking the arm and going to a 2-on-1, which was the right move.
All right, round number 1 started with a flurry of fists. Are we going to see the same thing?
I think so.
All right, the cage door is closing as we get set for round number 2. Tom Supnick checking both fighters. We are underway for round number 2, our co-main event of Front Street Fights 5, presented by Bodybuilding.com. Scott Thometz and Darrell the Fiesta Flores. Well, a cat and mouse game to start this second round. Good hard kick by
to the ribs.
By Darrell, excuse me.
That was a really good kick. That was
good leg sweep.
Look for a choke. Look for a choke. Look for a Kimura. Darrell's got a Kimura or an armbar coming.
He's going for the armbar. He's got good position on the armbar, but Scott again not freaking out.
So now he's got a Kimura.
With it.
He's looking. There you go. Rolled him off the Kimura.
He's now going in for that arm lock.
Thometz got out of it right now, but if Darrell could still turn it into an armbar here in a second. This is great grappling right here. You know, Darrell's doing good, keeping a hold of that arm. Looks like Thometz is going to get out of it.
Scott Thometz, again, able to roll through a couple of those big holds.
Right.
And it looked
about
looking for a choke.
Here's a straight choke. Now you can get back on top. That's called a scissor choke. Now watch for the leg lock.
Good leg sweep there by Scott Thometz.
Watch for the leg lock. Okay. Now Thometz is back in the game again.
And he's got him where he wants him. He likes him up against the cage, able to really control, because now it almost becomes kind of a 2-on-1. You've got the cage as your partner, and really limits the mobility of your opponent.
Right. It's definitely a tool, to the guy's advantage if he uses it. And Thometz does know how to use it. So, and once again, Thometz likes to, as you can see, he doesn't like to pass to side control, which is more of an MMA style. That suits MMA, because once you get to side control, a lot of times it's hard to keep those guys down. If you stay in the half guard, you're anchored to him and vice versa. So, you can kind of post up and start punching, dropping ground and pounds
and
on.
He's dropped in about 3 to 4 right hands there. It doesn't seem to really have connected much. Definitely landed not hard as 2 minutes have passed in round number 2 of our co-main event.
Darrell's
Vince Morales
trying to turn.
Excuse me, Darrell.
Darrell's trying to turn his feet towards the cage and trying to push off to get his head out of the cage. Thometz is doing a good job of keeping his head compressed against the cage, which takes away Darrell's hips.
How is Darrell going to be able to get out between Scott and the cage?
Well,
what does he have to do at this
Well, he has
point?
to make space. So instead of hugging his head with Thometz's head with his right arm,
couple of knees there to the
he
side
needs to-
of Darrell Flores.
he needs to make space, take a few shots that kind of suck to get out of that to make space. You can't hold and then also try to expect to escape.
So
as
basically,
well.
you have to bend a little but not break.
Yeah, you have to go through the fire to get out of it. So you got to go deeper. So. And
Darrell Flores starting to move his body in a little more favorable position.
Tom Supnett standing him back up.
He did not stop the fight.
And that's the referee's prerogative.
No.
That's the referee's prerogative
Just
to do
standing him
that.
up. Yep.
Because he sees, okay, this is kind of.
This is dragging on.
Yep.
We're digging it back up and get the action going.
Yep. And so, that's totally legal.
And Scott going for the shoot there. Not
Watch a
quite
leg lock. Watch a forward roll leg lock here.
He's definitely trying to go for it. Darrell able to fend him off at this point. Now he's going to switch up, takes him back there.
Nice.
But Darrell just as much takes him down. Scott Thometz able to get that back position.
Got the
We are
better
down
of the
to
scramble.
the final 90 seconds of round number 2. And again, we're back against that cage where Scott won.
Thometz doesn't have hooks in, so he could fall off the back. He's got a good job of keeping the double underhook so he doesn't get bucked forward.
Good elbow there by Darrell Flores.
Yeah, Darrell's doing a good job kind of making Thometz think about,
And Thometz has landed a couple hard lefts there to Darrell Flores' side, which we've seen can have a big effect, not knocking the wind out of you necessarily.
There's a leg lock coming.
But he rolls right into a leg lock.
He's got a
which he did
minute
earlier in
if
this
he can
round.
pull it off.
We are in the final minute of round number 2 of this co-main event. Darrell Flores trying to set up a leg lock once again, not quite able to get exactly what he wants. We saw this earlier on in the fight as well, too.
Yeah, so Darrell's looked like Darrell's trying for a heel hook right here. Thometz is trying to keep his foot flat on the ground and heavy.
Trying to soften him up with those punches, maybe get a little bit of the air, loosen him up, because right now Scott Thometz doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, so to speak, to get out of this. But at the same point, Darrell Flores can't really lock in this heel hook that he's trying to go for.
Yeah, Thometz is dropping. Oh, okay, so now he's going to try to switch to a different type of heel hook and maybe attack the other. This is what's called a 50-50 guard. You see how they're both scissored like that? This is a 50-50 guard. And so Darrell can actually elect to ankle lock right there or even go to the other side. 10 seconds left.
A couple of hard right hands there to Darrell Flores, courtesy of Scott Thometz. Down to our final 10 seconds here. Oh, look at the ego coming from Darrell Flores. That is nothing but ego right there. And you can't say that that's a bad thing either.
No, definitely not. It's like Darrell's trying what he can, and he's doing good with everything. And his best skill set is leg locks, and Darrell's trying everything.
And
so
you can see there, as we saw at the end there, you hit it to 50-50 there. Neither one of them really able to do much at that point. Neither one of them can go anywhere.
Yeah, the problem with leg locks and why not a lot of guys practice them, especially at even higher levels, is because, not to say Darrell's not a high level, is you either become an elitist with the leg locks or you kind of give them up, because a leg lock is the only submission in jiu-jitsu that gives the other opponent the same type of thing, and then also it gives up a lot of your position as well. So that's the danger of leg locks, is when you go for a leg lock, well, your foot's in his face as well. You can get leg locked as well.
Now, we talk a lot about the stamina in the 5-minute rounds. We're into the third and final round between Scott Thometz and Darrell Flores. Is this where the year off starts to affect Scott in the stamina department?
I see no indication of that watching him. I mean, he seems pretty cool, calm, and collected, and he's not making mistakes. He's winning scrambles. So I think that question has been answered, that he doesn't have any ring rust.
Or cage rust, if you really want
Yeah,
to.
cage rust, yeah.
All right, here we go. Third and final round, our co-main event between Scott Thometz and Darrell Flores. Front Street Fights 5, presented by bodybuilding.com. And again, we start with the cat and mouse game.
Wow.
Good inside leg kick, almost taking Thometz to the ground. That is going to play
Thometz
into
lifting his leg right now. Thometz is lifting his leg.
Looks like he was going for the inside leg kick, tries to switch it up to a high kick to the head there. And again, he's content, kind of leaving himself open after he spins out of that, kind of relaxes a little bit if Thometz is able to
Thometz is probably going to
capitalize.
look for a shot right now, like he's done the last 2 rounds. Because he's had success with that, so I don't see why he wouldn't go for a shot again.
This first 35 seconds, a lot of cat and mouse, a lot of inside leg kicks. Again, it goes right back to the right leg of Scott Thometz, and that's definitely
That
starting
inside
to
leg
weaken
kick
up.
is definitely working. That is definitely working, because I saw, you see the weakness in Thometz's leg when he puts that leg back down. Those things hurt. Doesn't matter how tough you are.
And again, it looks like Darrell Flores is content to keep going after that right leg. Again,
Wow,
goes
went
for
high.
the switch up.
Went
That's
high.
the second time he's done this so far.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give him credit. It's working, so you might as well continue with that game plan.
They're both playing a little chess match, so to speak, of leg kicks. Not a lot of-
Thometz, deflected that one. That one's not really counted, And leg kicks hurt when the guy that just got kicked sends a kick right back. Darrell's kind of falling back with his chin. That's not good. But now he's back to bouncing and looking lateral.
90 seconds into our third and final round of our co-main event of Front Street Fights 5, presented by bodybuilding.com. A lot of cat and mouse game. Darrell Flores knew it right there, going for the
Yep.
leg kick. Scott Thometz waiting for the door to open. It did, and he's got him back down on the ground.
Thometz dropping some
He's
elbows.
got some good hard elbows. Good 3-4 hard right elbows.
He's
to
mad
Darrell
about those
Flores'
leg
face.
kicks.
I would be too.
Yeah. Darrell's,
Actually, I probably wouldn't be talking right now.
Darrell's got what's called a lockdown on with his half guard. That's where his legs are entangled. And, you can actually use that to your advantage by elevating the guy or moving side to side if you actually use that lockdown. So, he really just needs to get back up. He was having success in that exchange more than Thometz. So, he needs to try to almost even stand back up, I would say, at this point.
And you saw the look on Darrell's face as he was falling to the ground. He knew the mistake that he had made.
Yep.
But to his credit, has not given up what Scott Thometz was going for right there.
No, he's a gamer. Darrell's an amazing fighter. Scott's doing good in his
Return to the cage.
his year back. He's obviously doing good, and he's tight in a lot of his transitions, and there's not really a few chinks in his armor other than leg kicks that we saw.
And throws a couple more elbows. The
those
only
are
thing
kind
in
of-
between him and the elbow was Darrell Flores' head.
Yeah, those are kind of semantics. Those are kind of forearm shivers. It's just like with the blade of your forearm rather than with the point of your elbow. And those are effective at those close ranges.
Final 2 minutes of our co-main event here. Darrell Flores and Scott Thometz putting on the show we all thought that they were going to put on at this point.
Armbar attempt. See how Darrell's moving his hip side, moving his hips there. Try to take Scott's left arm, but
And it seems for about the past 45 seconds to close to a minute, since they've been back down on the ground, neither one of them able to really capitalize on what they're trying to do. Darrell Flores really fending off a lot of the moves Scott Thometz is throwing it on, but at the same point, Scott Thometz has had some credit with the elbows and those body shots.
yeah, and we'll see if Supnick decides to stand it back up at this point.
And if
because-
he's got to do it, he's got to do it quick. We are down to
Yeah.
the final minute 25 here.
Darrell looking for a Kimura or a sit-up sweep when he goes like that.
And again, just taking it back down, a little bit of relaxing going on.
Right.
Right. Well, not relaxing, pardon.
Yeah. See how Thometz is putting his head in the chin of Darrell. That's to kind of keep him square, and so Darrell doesn't get out side to side. It's
We
just
are
kinda-
down to the final 60 seconds of round number 3, final 60 seconds of our co-main event of Front Street Fights 5. Scott Thometz been throwing a few elbows this last 5-10 seconds there. Not really having a lot of effect on Darrell, maybe loosen him up. There's another hard right elbow there. It's more of a forearm there. That kind of a club fist there.
Yeah, the only thing Darrell could hope for right now is a submission. I have him behind on the card, so he just needs to kind of throw something and take that risk. He's got 30 seconds left.
Final
So-
30 seconds. Are we going to see a submission from Darrell Flores? Is he going to get out of it? He gave up back position to Scott Thometz.
Yep.
Now what can Scott Thometz do in the final 20 seconds?
Thometz is doing good by sagging his butt down and sitting down so he can't get rolled. 13 seconds
Here
left.
we go, final 10 seconds.
Triangle.
Let's see a flurry of fists coming from both fighters. They know it. It's the final 10 seconds. Who wants it more as this distance is met? Nothing more you can expect from a co-main event goes the distance between Darrell Flores and Scott Thometz. Scott Thometz, that is. Man, that was an exciting fight. It's going to go into the hands of the judges.
Yeah.
Going to be hard to pick a winner in this one.
Oh, I think Thometz, had the advantage. Darrell was, flying by the seat of his pants and trying everything. He, it's. If this was more of like a main event title fight, we had 5 rounds, it might have been different. Darrell kind of caught his stride on that last 3rd round exchange, but for the most part, I think Darrell Flores or Scott Thometz, had the upper hand and got the ground and pound, got the takedown. So I don't think it's a question who won or lost right now.
Well, it will be interesting to see how the judges score this one as you take us through some of the action we're watching right now.
Yeah. So basically, that was just the final exchange in the 3rd round, and just Thometz kind of putting a period on the end of that sentence of that fight. And, he did really good with ground and pound, staying in the closed guard and nullifying Darrell's leg lock. So he did great.
And again, a lot of drama, a lot of storylines coming into this fight here. Scott Thometz taking a year away from the cage. Darrell Flores who had been training, has to train for a different opponent here. And probably one of the funnest elements of the fight to me, and probably for them too, Scott Thometz being a former mentor of Darrell Flores, and Darrell Flores not shy in the respect that he has for Scott Thometz. So this one's got to be a lot of fight for them. Both of them, congratulations at the end of the fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight, and once again, credit to the fighters, but also credit to the matchmakers. I mean, that was a great fight. And it was evenly matched, and they put on a great show for Boise, and that's what people want to come back for.
And we got to send a big special shout out and thank you to Todd Carlson, our matchmaker here at Front Street Fights. He has done an absolutely fabulous job. Mitch, are you ready to find out who wins this fight?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's head back into the ring with Britt Talbert.
Couple things here before we go to the card, fight fans. All these fights here tonight at Front Street Fights 5 have been absolute brawls for the most part. How about a round of applause for our matchmaker that put all these fights together tonight? These have been some good tilts. This one right here, we're going to go to the judges' scorecard. And what we have a unanimous decision. Judge Steve French scores at 29-28. Judge Howard Hazelmaker scores at 30-27. Judge Randy Anderson scores at 30-27. For the man who's been up for a year, a tickle fight, right there, Thometz. Again, how about a round of applause for both these fighters right here, ladies and gentlemen? They came here, they entertained all you, the family and friends and fans that came out tonight. We're gonna talk to Scott. Okay, humor me. They call you a tickle fight. Did anybody that look like a tickle fight to anybody out there? That was a good bout right there.
Fun fight, real fun fight.
You've been off for a year. What made you decide to come back?
Oh, I've been unhealthy for a while, so it's just my body's feeling good, and took this fight short notice, and it just kind of fell into my lap, and felt pretty in shape trying to get my fighters ready for this fight. So, I just decided to step in and help the show out.
Show them how it's done.
Trying to. That's Jesse's job next.
Okay, a couple local guys. You're a local guy, he's a local guy. You both got 8-10 fights between you. What did you know coming into tonight's fight, Scott?
We've trained together, so I knew he was going to go for that ankle lock and that knee bar lock. I knew his judo's pretty good, and fancies himself a pretty good boxer, so that's kind of the game plan. He threw some pretty hard kicks at me, so that was kind of unexpected, but we know each other. We sparred together and stuff, so.
Okay, the question I ask every fighter, what's next? After a year off, what's your future say?
2 weeks, man. Jiu-Jitsu World Champions, Long Beach. So Let's go try to win a world championship there, huh?
Okay, again, you're not here without the support, family, friends, sponsors. Who do you want to thank?
Tagatu and AMRAP for throwing up the quick sponsorship, and all those people right over there, my family. Love them all. I wouldn't be here without them. Love them. Teammates, the gym. We're a big family down there, so I love all those guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, he calls himself the Tickle Fight. I don't know. That was a heck of a bout right there. For Scott Tickle Fight, Thometz, our winner.